Bole Baba Ki Jai. Welcome back to this 8th day of Navratri. And we'll have a little bit of chanting, and then we'll have a discourse, and then we'll give some of our children little gifts because we honor them during the Navratri as the manifestations of the divine that they are. So Bole Baba Ki Jai.
Yes, so we start with Psalm number 11. Oh my heart, Haidakhandi for you. So this song is for our Divine Mother Haidakhandi, which is the Shakti, the divine energy, female energy of Babaji, our Guru. And also the Murti, big Murti.
on to the discourse.
Boli Baba Ki
Jai.
All looking for Mother and Navratri. She's going to give a discourse.
And some people, particularly the children, can come sit close. So if you're further back and you can't hear me, then just let me know, okay? And I'll try to speak louder.
A little bit louder, Mochi.
Okay? So this is a story about a princess who gets stolen away and gets saved by a prince. So, the name of is Ekavira and Ekavali. But first we're going to find out about Ekavira. So one day Lord Vishnu entered into his chamber in Vaikuntha and he saw Lakshmi peering out the window. So Lord Vishnu is the one who takes care of the whole universe, and his wife is Lakshmi. And so when he came in, he was surprised because he called out to her and said, "Hello, Lakshmi." And Lakshmi didn't respond. And she was just looking out the window at something. And so he said, "Lakshmi," and she still did not respond. And then he asked again, "Lakshmi, this is your husband speaking." And she was just so fascinated by what she saw out the window. So he walked over to see. And indeed, it was this beautiful horse that's called the Horse of Wisdom that actually is her brother. And he was going by and she was just immersed in that, watching so carefully. Anyways, Vishnu got a little perturbed, that means angry. And he said, "Since you are so immersed in horses, I think you should go to earth and become a horse." And she said, "Oh my Lord, what did you say?" Lakshmi was amazed. "I said, go down to earth and become a horse," replied an angry Vishnu. So to clarify that, Vishnu and Lakshmi live up in heaven. So, so Lakshmi says, "Why would you have me do that for such a small fault of mine? You are giving me such a grievous curse." And Vishnu says, "We have some karma to perform." So all of these curses and things like that are in these stories, there's always a bigger picture to things than perhaps we see immediately. So that's what he says to Lakshmi. And she says, "Well, how shall I come free of this curse?" And Vishnu says, "When the time is right, I will come down to earth as well as a horse. We will have a child who is destined for greatness." So there's a great child that's to be born from Lakshmi and Vishnu. So Lakshmi went down to the earth in the form of a mare, a female horse, and day and night she repeated the mantra of Lord Vishnu and searched for the appearance of her Lord in this way. But for 100,000 years passed, that's a very long time. She could not figure out where Vishnu was or what could possibly be keeping him so long. Finally, she got an idea. She said, "Om Namah Shivaya." And immediately, Lord Shiva appeared to her. So you're just singing Om Namah Shivaya. That's to Shiva, the aspect of change in this, and also the great yogi that resides in our hearts. So she said, Om Namah Shivaya, and Lord Shiva appeared to her. He said, hello, Lakshmi. What are you doing down here in the form of a horse? Where is your husband, Lord Vishnu? And Lakshmi says, I've been waiting for Vishnu to show up for the last 100,000 years, replied an impatient Lakshmi. Then why did you call me? Asked Lord Shiva. Shiva, I must tell you the truth. One day, Lord Vishnu was sitting in deep meditation for a long time. He did not move in the least. He merely sat there fully absorbed. When he awoke, asked him, Deva Deva, God of all the gods, Lord of the universe, everyone looks to you for solace and protection. All existence meditate upon you. Upon who are you meditating? Then my Lord answered me, my beloved Lakshmi, I was meditating upon Lord Shiva. Verily, he is my inner self. So we talked about the great aspect within ourselves. That is why Lord Shiva, when after 100,000 years of chanting Vishnu's name and he didn't show up, I thought I would call on you. And so Lord Shiva says, well, what can I do for you, Lakshmi? She says, please remind my Lord that I'm waiting for him as per his command on earth as a horse. Shiva went to Vaikuntha, up in the heavens, remember where Lakshmi and Vishnu were living. He said, hello, Vishnu. What has happened to you? You look terrible, like there is no Lakshmi in your house. It seems you haven't even washed up your dishes in a long time. Where is your beloved wife? Vishnu was stunned into remembrance. Shiva, you must excuse me, a very important function I must attend to on earth. Vishnu excused himself and went down to earth, where he became a stallion, a boy with her horse. Lakshmi saw the stallion and recognized him immediately, and they gave birth to a beautiful son. Then Vishnu says, come Lakshmi, let us return to Vaikuntha. Lakshmi says, have you no heart? How can we leave this poor defenseless baby alone? Vishnu says, our karma here is complete. Let's go home, the Lord responded. Lord, I can't leave my child like this, Lakshmi said. Vishnu says, okay, and he turned the baby horse into a human being. And then he said, let's go. With that, he rose into the atmosphere and headed toward Vaikuntha, and Lakshmi went with him. Just then, the king Turvasu came, riding a chariot before his army. Who has abandoned this child alone in the wilderness, wondered the king. What a beautiful boy. I have been praying and practicing asceticism for the last 100 years in order to have a divine son. Ah, now we understand, huh? Certainly this is the son which God has promised. I shall take him home and raise him as my own son. The king lifted the child onto his chariot and returned to his home. He raised that boy until he became well-educated and well-mannered, and a great warrior of superior powers. He was known as Ekavira, the warrior of union, or who has one-pointed attention. So that's what his name means. The warrior of union and one who's very focused. Turvasu performed all the rites of passage for his son and saw to his education. When he was convinced that Ekavira was fully qualified, he placed his son on the throne to become the ruler of the land. And with the king's wife, he went off to perform tapasya in the forest. So in India, often when the parents get older, then they go off and do their spiritual practice and put the children in the place of their occupation, which was for him a king. So, meanwhile, there was a king named Rabya who had a beautiful daughter and her name was Ekavali, which means the spirit of union. She was born from the divine fire at the time of a sacrificial offering, a fire ceremony. The Princess Ekavali loved to play among the flowers every day, and she would move with her friends outside the city gates to play among the wildflowers by the bank of the river. But the king was very worried about her. He said, "This is dangerous. Let me build a wild garden for you inside the kingdom." But it wasn't wild enough for her, so she and her friends still went off, and the king sent an escort of soldiers to guard the girls as they played outside the city gates. But one day, the wicked king, Kalikitu, who means the purveyor of darkness, came to where the girls were playing. Seeing the beauty of the princess, he and his soldiers attacked the guards. Having caught the guards unaware, they were overwhelmed by his superior force, and Kalaketu stole the princess, Ekavali. Ketu held her prisoner in his palace towers, and along with her was her friend Yasubati, who had also been captured. He ordered Ekavali to marry him, but the princess would not agree. She cried and cried. "What shall I do?" she asked her friend. Yasubati replied, "I know the mantra Hrim, which is the mantra of the Divine Mother, the goddess, who we're celebrating right now." Who's right here? "I shall make japa," which means saying the name over and over again, Hrim, 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 "and she will make my path clear so that I can summon help." So Yasavati began the repetition of the mantra of the Divine Mother, and suddenly the doors flew open, and Yasavati made her escape. She ran through the dark of night. By morning she had reached the bank of a river. There she sat upon a rock crying, wondering which way she should go for help. Just then, a handsome young prince came riding before a great army. "Oh, fair maiden, why are you crying? No one should be sad in my kingdom, especially while I'm ready to serve you." She said, "My friend and I were stolen by the wicked king, Kalaketu. He defeated our guards, took us prisoners, and locked us up in the palace tower. I was able to escape, but the princess Ekavali is still held prisoner. The wicked king keeps saying that she must marry him, but she tells him that from her childhood, the astrologers told her that she was destined to marry a man named Ekavira. The king, the prince, says, "Well, I am Ekavira," declared the prince. "Where is this palace of the wicked king? I'm ready to engage him in war. I shall free my wife and rid the earth of this darkness." But the young woman said, No, prince. This king is very, very powerful. First, you must be well armed. So I suggest that first you go to an ashram and get initiation into a sacred mantra, so that you can also have more strength from the Divine Mother. And then we shall go to fight. So indeed he did, and spent time with the Guru, learning about the Divine Mother and all the sacred prayers or mantras. Ekavira then marched into battle and defeated the wicked king of darkness, King Kalaketu. Ekavira then freed the captured princess Ekavali, and when her friend Yasavati explained to her all that had happened and that this was indeed Ekavira, the princess said, "Please, Ekavira, take me to my father. He will bless our marriage according to the customs of our family." Then Ekavira returned with Ekavali to her family, and the king and his family celebrated the divine marriage in accordance with all the traditions of their ancestors. Ekavira and his divine consort, Ekavali, established the worship of the Divine Mother in their kingdom and set new ideals of respect during their reign. So, Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. So I have a few questions. What did Ekavati do, or her friend anyways, when they were in a big jam? Who did they remember? Anybody? The Divine Mothers? You didn't get that one, okay. Well, that was the point of the story, was that the Divine Mother is there, always there for us, so we can pray to her when we get in a pickle, when we get in trouble. Are there any questions, or? So we're happy that we have some of our children here with us. We would like to give them gifts. So could a couple of you young adults who were Kumaris when you were young come up and help? Yeah. Come now. Thank you. So the blue bags are for the boys and the pink bags are for the girls. How to go? One, take some and bring them back. They must not have big things. Darshan of the Divine Mother while the children enjoy their little gifts. And I appreciate our children, and like you just saw, the children the young adults that help give out the packages. We're all Kumaris here over their years, so may they all grow up to be lovely adults. Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai, and we convene again tomorrow at 8:30 for our Devi Puja. For the Ki Jai.